Welcome to the At Home Podcast. My name is Bernie, and today we're going to dive into the topic of generosity. With me today are Justin and Katherine. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your family to get us started?
Yeah, we've been married for 10 years, and we've got a 17-year-old, just finished her junior year at Eastern, and then we've got twins, Ava and Hudson.
Oh, wow.
That just graduated from kindergarten last night. So
wow, congratulations.
Yeah, they're
That's
fun.
exciting.
Yeah.
That's exciting. So as we dive into this topic of generosity, is there a story that comes to mind of generosity or sacrifice that really impacted your family?
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, it's just kind of everything, just life leading up to move. And then, we made a commitment to move. And just as part of that, I think it's just kind of created this kind of hyper-focus intentionality on how we're raising our kids around money and resources and sacrifice and sharing and things like that. So, just recently, really kind of the past year, I think we've tried to be more intentional with like age-appropriate chores and just starting to introduce them to money and money concepts, I think, and just trying to speak into them about, how God has designed us and that money is a tool and, how he's designed us to work hard to honor him. But, part of that, especially in America, includes making money and what we do with that money to build the kingdom and just all of those principles, I think. But really, I think it started around, again, move and the commitment we made there, but also just kind of life leading up to it and understanding basic principles of stewardship, that God owns it all, and that there's joy and generosity, and of all the things that we can do with our money, that giving it away is one of the most fun things we can do with it.
Yeah.
So.
That's good. That's good. You have such an age gap there, 17 and 6, and I'm sure everybody's different. How did you kind of prepare your kids to even start this conversation? Like, did you guys sit down and say, hey, I think how did that even come about and getting them to understand generosity in the first place?
Well, I think it's a little bit of a tension. So, like, obviously with the 17-year-old, right, that the tension there is, do we tell her what the dollar amount is on the commitment? She's kind of an old soul, mature for her age. She made a commitment of her own. She's had a job since she was 15. So, so she understands hard work, great student. She does competitive cheer, so she's got a strong work ethic that she applies across all of those.
She's much like her mother too, in that gift giving, receiving, and gift giving is her love language. So, anytime she sees, somebody struggling or somebody did something great, she wants to give them a gift, and I'm always like, you can't just spend all your money. And she's like, Mom, you do the same thing.
Oh, wow!
And I do, because I want people to feel seen and noticed. And it's not about the dollar amount of what you give. It's just, I want people to see Jesus that way, that he sees you and he shows up for you and wants you to feel loved.
Yeah. Wow. That's so good. That's so good.
Yeah. So anyway, the tension, I think, there on with Caroline being older, is just, how transparent are you and how much detail do you give her in terms of the heart behind the commitment, and why we landed on that. And then with the twins, who are much younger, I don't think we've ever had any conversation with them like, oh, hey, we're doing this move initiative and we've made this commitment. But I think, like, where my heart has grown in all of this is, in move is contentment. But also, again, leading up to move, some health things that I was going through, it was, the move commitment was really just an overflow of gratitude. And, if you look back 10 years, the twins are IVF twins, right? So we battled infertility for a while, and then God blessed us with them. So obviously we're so grateful for them, and just so many things like that. If you look back, I personally believe that generosity is a bit of a measuring stick of gratitude.
Okay.
If that makes sense. And again, like leading up to move, I sat still long enough to actually think about all the things I'm grateful for. And I think God's taught me so much about his own character through being a father to specifically the twins, but Caroline as well. And, I'll find myself getting frustrated with the twins because they've got everything they need, most of what they want, but they'll still throw a temper tantrum over the one thing they don't have. And it frustrates me. But then when I'm being honest with myself, I'm the exact same way.
Right. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
God's up there like just smiling down like, yeah, that's how you act sometimes. And so just trying to teach them basic gratitude, I think. Let's be thankful. Because again, like in America, right, like we don't try to show them like poor kids and things like that and say like, this is what you could be like. But I think we're just constantly trying to hammer in their heads how blessed they are, how good God is, not because of the things we have, but because of the family we have, that we're healthy, that we're well, and that that we have the ability to serve others and have eyes for others and help others and build a kingdom.
Yeah. I want to dive a little bit deeper into what you just said. And I love, like, a lot of parenting stuff at home is caught rather than taught, right? And you mentioned, your daughter taking after you and that can, and you were mentioning some things. How do you intentionally model for them what that looks like to be generous? Because a lot of things that you're saying are great, like to show gratitude and to be appreciative. Like, does anything come to mind that you're like, we specifically want to make sure that they see us as mom and dad doing these types of things?
Well, one thing is he serves in the prison ministry Seekers, and he goes into prisons, play softball with the inmates, and the twins will be like, oh, daddy's going to jail this weekend, and which is funny in itself, but it shows he's going out of his comfort zone. He's going to a place where people, are the, not people everybody want to be around, and that he's loving on them. And one of his closest friends, actually, he met through Seekers years ago, who's out now, and our kids call him Uncle Mike.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know that they know that Uncle Mike was in jail, but it's just a really cool. That's a separate story. But I feel like they see us love people well. They see us with extended family and just friends. With Caroline, I've always wanted to be a place where friends are welcome. I joke, it's funny, not funny. The neighbor kids, if my kids are in our bed watching a show, they'll come get in bed and watch the show. And I just want to be that place where if you don't know Jesus, you can experience Jesus
Wow, so good.
in our home.
Yeah.
And we, I don't know, a month ago, we found a homeless guy who was on a park bench on Hurstbourne Lane, and we took him Chick-fil-A and ended up getting him a bed for his apartment that he got into. And, they see a lot of that. So I think they're pretty well exposed to that side of it. But also, like, from a practical standpoint, we've got one of those digital calendars, and part of it is like you can assign chores and stuff to kids. So they've got chores, and they can get stars, and then they can turn their stars into dollars, kind of thing. So again, we try to teach them those like real practical things, like the order of give, save, spend, and
They had a lemonade stand a couple of weeks ago, and they made $45. And stewardship dad comes in, and they pay me back for the cost of the lemonade. Then they give to God. Then they put in their savings, and then they split what was left.
Oh, wow, that's so good.
yeah, I didn't teach them about taxes yet, but
Future lessons, right?
Yeah.
Future lessons. I love that you guys have been really focusing on generosity isn't about the dollar amount. It's about loving people, pointing them to Jesus, showing gratitude, how would you encourage families if you could sit across from them and say, hey, it's not going to look perfect. It's not going to look the same for everyone. But what are some things you would encourage them to do to either start the conversation or even just the thought process around generosity as a family, whether that starts with them themselves or extends to the whole family together? What would be some nuggets of wisdom or encouragement you would give them? Hey, you guys should probably try to start here.
Yeah, I think I'll go back to some of Matt Bell's stuff, who's a member of our church, wrote the book Trusted. He teaches a class called Raising Financially Faithful Kids. So I would say step one is take that class. It is full of all kinds of nuggets. But really, I think my biggest advice would be that it's never too early to start. Again, whether it's just like age-appropriate chores to teach them kind of work ethic and what is going, especially in our society, what generates money and what generates kind of the ability to be generous. We can certainly talk about being generous with our time and our talents and things like that.
I think that's a big thing too, though, and that's a good starting point. Maybe if you're not financially there to give a lot. I mean, generosity is, or stewardship, your time, talent, and treasure. And one thing that God has put on my heart and that I'm learning every day with the twins is I can be generous in my response to them. We can be generous in our responses to one another. And like he said, that, I feel like God, however many times a day, is like, okay, this is what it's like dealing with you. And this is the grace I extend to you. So do this with your kids. And that just sets a good example and helps them regulate. And it's just a good starting point, whether before you get caught up in a dollar amount and it's an easy thing to start praying about, and it's an easy thing to start doing.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
I heard somebody say, I'll probably butcher this quote, but imagine if tomorrow all you had was what you thanked God for today. Right? And so like even in our bedtime prayers, right? Like we're heavily focused on just thanking God.
Yeah.
And even if it's, we're thanking him that our hands and our feet work the way they're supposed to, that our eyes work, that we can smell and taste and hear. And again, just trying to get them in a mindset of not taking those things for granted. But then even beyond that, I think also generosity. In order to be generous, you have to have eyes for people to see them. So again, just trying to teach our kids and point it out, if we're out and about. Hey, you see that person over there? You see that little boy with his grandfather? Maybe his dad's in jail. Maybe his dad or mom is somewhere else, right? And just teaching them to be on the lookout for those things.
Wow, so good.
Things like that. So,
Wow. Well, thank you guys so much. This has been so good, and I know that families are going to be encouraged. And just remember that generosity isn't about the dollar amount. It's about loving people, pointing them to Jesus. But thank you for some of the practical things. I'm going to use them with some of my kids too. So, yes, thank you guys.
all right. Thank you.